today I'm going to talk about my recent equine therapy mind-blowing day with my intuitive coach, Kate Nelligan, who's amazing. She's already gotten so many referrals from my Instagram post about equine therapy, but she truly is a really remarkable facilitator and translator of these miraculous beings called horses. And I'm going to get into that and tell you some detail about how powerful it was for me and how magical and mystical it was. And then I'm going to talk just briefly about my current manifestation protocol. What I do, I feel very much in flow and alignment, and I am just witnessing so much synchronicity and magic and just really cool things happening in my life. So I want to share kind of the energy and the conscious manifestation practices that I do on the daily in hopes that, they resonate with you, or some version does, and you can make it your own and start to manifest a little more magic in your life. So let's first talk about horses. I first started doing equine therapy or equine therapy, whichever way you say it, because I was afraid of horses, and they're so beautiful that I wanted to get over that fear. But what happened in my first session was so powerful that these horses literally played out a drama of my therapy, like what I needed to see reflected back for me to move emotion, have self-awareness, it was mind-blowing how intelligent and sensitive these beautiful, powerful horses were. And I needed the coaching and facilitating of Kate, because what she does is she's so spiritually in tune with these animals, and she's so intuitive. She has a degree from the University of Santa Monica, a spiritual psychology degree, which really helps her tune into what's coming up for me, the client or the patient, and for the horses. So she's a really good translator, but she doesn't overstep. She really lets you tune in, or myself tune in, to what's coming up from my intuition. So it truly is magical and unique. And I've never done equine therapy anywhere else, but I'm here to say that the way she works is really special and powerful. But a little bit about horses first, because after kind of working with them and getting over my fear, I started to learn why they're so magical and why they're able to pick up on my energy and the energy in the field and reflect back through behavior exactly what we need to see. So first, let's start with, I'm going to put on my glasses because it's that time. Sadly, we need to talk about some optometry, spiritual optometry on this show. Okay, a horse's heart is a powerhouse of coherence. I asked my little friend ChatGPT about horses and their sensitivities and their gifts. So a horse's heart is about 4 times larger than a human's. It weighs around 8 to 10 pounds. Can you imagine that? It can pump over 10 gallons of blood per minute, making it a literal powerhouse of circulation and vitality. Horses live in what scientists call a coherent heart rhythm much of the time. So they're steady, they're regulated, and calm. This natural coherence entrains humans, often chaotic heart and nervous system, into steadier states when we are near them and in their field. The heart produces the strongest electromagnetic field in the body, stronger than the brain's. I think ours is measurable out to like 8 feet from our body. A horse's electromagnetic field can extend up to 15 to 20 feet around their body, which is like a subtle aura we walk into when we are around them. When humans step into that field, our nervous systems can actually regulate in response, shifting from stress or hyperarousal into balance and calm. Think of it being like tuned, like a tuning fork. Their hearts are literally like tuning forks, which is why I have to assume neurodivergent children and people and autistic kids and kids on the spectrum, super sensitive individuals, really do well working with horses because they are in that field and start to kind of attune to that coherence. Why equine therapy is so potent? They're non-judgmental mirrors. Horses pick up on our inner state instantly, which is exactly what I've experienced over and over. If you're anxious, shut down, or incongruent, they sense it and reflect it in their behavior. They show us ourselves without judgment, just pure mirroring and feedback. They're embodiment teachers, which is what we all need right now to drop into our bodies. You cannot fake it with a horse. They demand authenticity. To connect, you must regulate your breath, calm your energy, and ground into your body and your environment. As far as trauma release, horses can help rewire the nervous system out of fight or flight into rest and repair, which allows these buried emotions to surface and release safely, which again was my experience, and I'll get into that in a second. In short, horses are like giant heart coherence tuning forks. They regulate us, reflect us, and remind us of the natural rhythm of life that we've often forgotten. Also true. Thank you, chat. Okay, so I arrived on the day, and even driving to, and this happens with all healing work. Once you make the intention to go and, do medicine work or work with horses, or even just go to your therapist or go to your chiropractor, oftentimes the healing starts before you even get there. So on my way to the horses, grief started coming up, and I was like, oh, this is so interesting. And I just I observed it and I let it come up. Didn't try to judge it, didn't try to analyze it. Well, I did, but I tried to shut that down very quickly because that's what we do, right? And when I got there, Kate asked me my intention, and I said, it's just, I feel this kind of grief bubbling up, and it's multidimensional. It's grief from my heartache of the past few years and recently, and also I had just received some news about a family member who I deeply care about that was really, really sad. And then there was all sorts of stuff going on in the collective, violent things going on in the collective that really took a toll on everybody the day before. So there was grief coming up, and she was like, well, how do you move energy? And I said, well, normally I move by, singing at the top of my lungs to Luke Combs in my car. Like singing really helps me somatically, like, move energy, because I'm just tapping into my voice without shame and anyone around to hear me. Although I do sound pretty good, I think, to Luke Combs. But with grief, with sadness, I've always had an issue. I don't know how. I'm not like a natural crier. So I was really grateful to be there because it was already starting to move in the horse's presence. And it was so interesting because Kate pointed out that these were horses, new horses to this new owner. So these horses were experiencing, probably grief as well. And they were experiencing being in a new home and a new environment. So obviously that's even just reflective right there of me and my daughter's experience after moving from the fires to a new home.